Hello, my name is Sarah Chamberlain and I'm part of the Osher at Dartmouth staff. Welcome to part 4 of our video tutorial series on accessing your online course folder. This series is designed to help you learn how easy it can be to access and work with the materials you'll find in your online course folder. Some of the terms and instructions I provide within this session reference topics covered in previous sessions in this series, and if they prove confusing to you, you may want to check out one of those earlier sessions, which are available on the Osher at Dartmouth website as well as our YouTube channel. In our last session, I showed you how to create a bookmark to allow you to quickly return to your course folder, and we're going to touch on that very briefly again in this session. But today, I'm going to show you the basics of navigating your course folder. There are many different types of files you may encounter in your folder, but these basic steps should enable you to read and work with almost any file you find there. So we're going to start by visiting my browser, and I'm using Google Chrome today, so I'm just going to open that up. And we're going to be working with the folder that I've used in previous sessions, which is A Sense of Place from our Spring 2014 term. And in our last session, I bookmarked that folder in my browser, and my bookmark is right up here at the top of my screen. So just a quick click takes me right to our course folder. I want to start by saying that only the Osher at Dartmouth office staff and your study leader have the ability to change the contents of your course folder. So as a class participant, you should never worry that you're doing anything that would adversely affect the contents of the folder. Anything I show you today only affects how you receive and work with the items here, but it won't cause any changes for your fellow class participants. So let's take a closer look at the folder on our screen. When you first arrive, you can see this light gray bar at the top, which contains the logo for Google Drive and a blue button over on the right. This gray bar can basically be ignored for the purposes of navigating through your course items. Even though the blue bar might say sign in, or it may say add to drive, anything appearing on this gray bar is intended for the use of those who have either a Google account or who wish to open a Google account. There are a few additional things you can do if you have a Google account, but none of them are absolutely necessary when you're just trying to work with your course folder items down in the white section here. So as I said, we're just going to ignore what's up in the gray bar for now here. So if it says sign in, don't worry, you don't have to sign in. But getting down to the nitty-gritty of what we see in our course folder, we start with the top left, where we see the title and course number of the course we're working with. And right next to it is a breakdown of how many items we have in the folder. And as we move to the right, you'll see two little buttons that are actually have quite an effect on how you see the items in your course folder. You can either use these series of lines on this button to see them in list view, or you can touch the series of 4 buttons to show grid view. Grid view is a little darker because that's the view that we're currently looking at. Grid view allows you to see the contents of your folder as thumbnail images, which are little snapshots of each file and document. And as I move my mouse over each item in grid view, you can see that my mouse pointer changes back and forth from a hand to an arrow. And if I linger on the title of any document, you can see that it changes color. And all of this is to show you that one single click would open these and show me these documents in full size. But before I do that with any of these, I want to show you how they would appear in list view. So I'm just going to go back up to our list view button and click it once, and everything has changed. So we see a few more details about each of our item, and you can see that instead of that highlight, in addition to that highlight and the changing of the mouse, we have this little gray bar up here to show the item that we're looking at or focusing on. One of the additional details, we get a little icon for each of these documents to show us what type of document it is. So this little red tri-corner image indicates a PDF file, while this blue W shows that this is a Microsoft Word file. You may find a great many different types of files in your course folder, including Excel spreadsheets, Photoshop images, and PowerPoint presentations. Don't worry if you don't own a copy of PowerPoint or Microsoft Word or Photoshop. You'll still be able to open and work with these files when you're in your online folder. Next to the icon showing what type of document you're seeing, you get the full title of the document. And we're in list view, we also see the date that any document or file was last modified, showing in this column right here. This can prove handy if your study leader frequently updates or adds materials to your course folder. For example, if you visit your folder on September 1st and return on the 8th, you'll be able to quickly determine if any changes have been made in the days between your visits. When you first arrive at your folder, I recommend that you take a look at your welcome packet. It's got some of the most vital information for your course, and it's definitely worth a look. In addition, your roster will include a reminder of your scheduling information and provide you with the communication and contact info for your study leader and fellow class members. Your study leader may also include other items such as reading packets or potential handouts or preparation materials prior to the start of your course. But let's go over to our welcome packet, and I'm going to open that with a single click. And any item that you open is shown first in preview mode, and that's indicated by this black background surrounding the actual document image itself. Now, although I want to talk about how to navigate through preview mode and some of its features, today we're going to ignore this section at the top center. We're going to cover that in our next session, session 5. Today, what we want to cover is the fact that our document shows up in the center of our screen. It's positioned over this dark background, and as I move my mouse, you can see little buttons appear around the edges of this dark screen. At the top left, you see the title of the document you're working with, the document you're looking at, and that can be a helpful reminder as you change documents. If I want to move through this document, I can begin reading through by using the scroll wheel on my mouse, which is what I'm doing right now. If you're not comfortable using the scroll wheel of your mouse, or if you don't have one, you can also use the scroll bar over here on the right side of the screen. And all it takes is clicking and holding on that bar and dragging it to the point that you want in your document and releasing it to stop. And as you can see, and I'm going to do this one more time, down at the bottom center of my screen, I'm getting a little window that says 2 of 8. As I change, it now says 3 of 8. That's indicating what page of the document I'm looking at. And for now, I'm just going to keep showing you it's changing. I'm going to stop right here with the scroll bar and instead show you you can also use the up and down buttons on your keyboard. So right now I'm clicking the down button, and right now I'm clicking the up button. And again, that page identifier comes up showing we're on 2 of 8, and now we're back to 1 of 8. And I'm just going to use the scroll bar and return all the way to the top. In addition to moving through the document itself, you can actually change the document you're looking at. This is the first document in our folder, but you saw before that we had 4 other documents. And I can move to the next document by clicking on this right pointing arrow here. So I'm just going to click on that once. And now you can see we're in another document. And it's showing us the title up at the upper left. It's also showing us we could move to the next item if we want, or we can move back one item to our original or previous item. So I'm going to return there for now. So down at the lower left of our screen is another helpful quick navigation tool. This is the View All Items button, and it's showing that we're looking at 1 of 5 items. A single click on that opens up this little mini window. The item highlighted in white with the white border is the item we're looking at right now. And you can see as I just move over each of the other items, it gives me their title and it highlights them in gray. All I have to do to select one of those other items is click on it once, and you can see that we immediately move to that item. The title has changed, it's showing us which document we're looking at, and it's highlighted in white down below. All I have to do to get back to my original is click back on it, and then I'm going to hide this menu by clicking one more time on the View All Items button. So there we go. That's how you can quickly change from document to document. And that button can be very helpful if you have a lot of items in your folder and you want to quickly navigate from one to the other. Moving to the top right of our screen, you can see the zoom and the close buttons. The zoom button resembles a magnifying glass, and it allows you to look more closely at the document on your screen. You click once to make your document appear larger, and you also are presented with this scrolling wheel, a zoom bar. By grabbing and dragging that circular button, you can zoom in or zoom out of the document, and one more click on that magnifying glass returns you to your original view of the document. And for today, finally, we have the close button. When you've done looking at the document and you want to get out of it, you can close preview mode by doing that. I just want to let you know that in our next session, we'll talk about the options you have when you want to start working with your course materials offline. What we covered today is some of the things that you can do when you're working with the document online. Don't forget, if you have any comments or suggestions for these series of videos, please contact the Osher at Dartmouth office and join me for the next session in our series as we learn about printing and downloading course documents. See you then.